as we come back to California Gold, I wanted to take a moment to reflect on something kind of interesting about it. The victory conditions is just collecting these suckers. Now, it seems like you don't really need money for them, right? Well, that's sort of true, sort of not. You really don't, because if you're in a location, you can just grab them as long as you're there, and you only need 12 of them. Conceivably, you could do that all in Los Angeles County, actually. However, that doesn't quite work, because you need these suckers. Each one of these can only hold 3, and those are expensive. Those are, what, 10 bucks each? The packing house? No, only 5 bucks each. The agency's 10 bucks each. Well, 10 bucks for the agency. So, you do have to have some sort of income. More than that, you also might want to be expending effort on getting the nurseries so that you can attach more easily. And you might get deprived of actions to grab one if all you're doing is trying to grab them, because you won't be, picking up the production amenities. You won't be getting the political advantages, and you'll get kind of screwed out of turns that you could draw. However, it does look like, being in certain areas is way more valuable than others. So, for example, being here in Santa Barbara, that was a horrible place to start. And I'm not really sure how valuable it's going to turn out being kind of somewhat frost resistant, because he's not very, right? We're looking, he's got 2 frost resistant Reliants, but that means he makes less money when he capitalizes in good weather, and there's no reason to capitalize in poor weather. So unless you're going to be playing all the frost cards regularly and expect other people to do so, you're probably not going to gain much for going after the Valencia oranges. They don't seem like a good deal, and I think red's going to suffer significantly for their position. Anyway, we're on to blue, and I'll come back after I do the round. We'll open things up by picking up another one of these. Just because, hey, this is the victory conditions. I can worry about trains and stuff like that as I need to. I want to have groves attached to me. And while I can, I feel like I must. Red didn't have anything to grab. What did they do? I think they collected income, because they have a lot of money in front of them. Green, I don't know. Green. See, red was considering going into Orange County. Green did so. There were a couple of Orange County cards out there. It looked attractive, but it got destroyed because white swept them away. Yellow collected cash with their chew, but then they ended up spending that on extending into San Bernardino County, where there now are a couple of cards because white swept the board. And then white was left with nothing they wanted to do with their agency office. They're really cursing having bought that. Yellow's been getting good actions out of theirs, but white doesn't have the cash to really do anything too valuable. They've got their 5 bucks, but what they want to do is they either want to build a building, or they want to, use the money maybe over here or something like that. And they're just finding that using the cash for something like advertising, it doesn't help them. They don't have a set. There's nothing they can do with it. Yellow's been able to drop a train at least, and pick up some of these additional things. We did get the political lobby. I think we got that with an agency action. But for the most part, they just really haven't helped. I spent the money too quickly for white, not for yellow. It's hard to tell that was going to be the case, except that white was in competition with someone down in Riverside. That's the big difference that was in play. Although yellow was very quickly in competition with blue over here. So it's hard to see, except that white and green were both solely invested in Riverside. Now we take our wage penalty, and everybody's got their chance to boost that up. And meanwhile, let's see what Blue's choice of cards is. Blue's probably, well, see, it's going to cost them $2 each. Blue's not going to get the card choice. Red's going to get the card choice. So this is painful, but could clear out all that county election crap. But what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to drop a freeze down, because everything else appeals to me. The only problem is there's no Orange County card there. There's no San Bernardino. No, there is. So I'm going to want to play a card. So I'm going to be dropping freeze. And I have to make first choice on whether or not to advance. They're at $2 each. I've got a decent amount of cash. If there's a strike, that could suck. So I'll spend $4 to up myself. And that immediately sounds like a threat, like there might be a strike as the next card. So green's got to consider. They have no cash. Well, nothing much to think of. What about yellow? Yellow's sitting on 2 as well. $4 to upgrade. There's a San Bernardino card I can take. We'll go for it. We're too afraid of the effect of a possible strike. Over here, what about white? Yeah, same problem, except it's only going to cost me a very small amount of money. Is there a Riverside card available? There is. I will get first crack at it. No, green's going to get first. Green can't take it. Green's got 3 cards. That's all that this can service. So, yeah, we can afford to boost our own up by 2. Of course, we won't have money next time, but yeah. And what about blue? Blue is frightened seeing all this movement here. They're $2 each. 2, 4, 6. That would cost all my money to boost myself up. And of course, it's not going to happen, but I may be in the lead. I'd better do it. And you can see kind of the immediate reaction. The guy who owns the card does something like that. Wow, we got to follow him. Well, it turns out he was playing the freeze. Now he gets a strike. So nobody was, you know, going to be affected by it anyway. But they don't know that. They're thinking he was holding a strike and was ready to use it. And he's just forced everybody to spend money. He has a good stockpile of cash and the only ability to really buy anything this turn. Kind of nice. Okay, this time around, I believe red grabbed another San Bernardino. Green was left screwed because they couldn't collect money and they don't have the ability to extend a train. They can't collect money because all they got is navel oranges with the freeze. They ended up building a little nursery down in Orange County, hoping they'll get a double draw sometime or something to make up for this. It's not the best kind of place to have it. You'd rather have it in one of the big counties, but whatever. Yellow ended up picking up a San Bernardino card. Again, they can't do money. For their second action, which came around later, they had to pass, as did white. White was able to get a Riverside card, and you can see they're falling, white's falling far behind here. And then for blue, unable to grab a card, but they were able to get themselves a choo-choo, and they're hoping that the next action won't be a problem, that they'll be able to catch money from it. Speaking of which, what's green thinking of doing? They can make people lose a card. That would hit red, and that's it. Yeah, red's doing pretty well after their last turn, but everybody else is going to lose their political lobbying, which, working conditions for the strike, irrigation, and green doesn't have any irrigation, so everybody would not get a bonus. More strikes. Strike hurts us as badly as anyone, and we don't have the cash to make it up. Lose if we're not fertilizing. We're not fertilizing. I think we're going to probably go with the county election. We don't have cash, so we're stuck there. Yellow doesn't have the kind of cash that they need with two things. White. Well, they're not too worried about it with green there, but they may be worried about getting it early while they still don't have a lot of money, so they're going to boost themselves up. The $1 seems like a deal to them. Blue, no money. Red, $2 each. That puts me under there, so I don't want to do that. Which means it's card play time. County elections played. Players with no money in county politics lose a card. Remove all chips from slot. Now, normally, what that means is red's going to lose a card. Normally, you'd keep the chips here because that card has... Most of the time the cards have a lasting effect, but in this case they don't. So red has to choose one that they can lose. Do they want to lose a San Bernardino or a Santa Barbara? Santa Barbara's harder to find. San Bernardino seems like a better deal. Of course it's a navel orange, which they like better, but they'll pitch that. And now they're behind a little bit. And I can hand these back because, as I said, they don't actually have an effect. There's no long-term effect to this one. And that puts us over to green to take the turn, but they get a card back. They get, wrong kind of card. Shouldn't look at that. We didn't see that. Fumigation. Ooh. New cards were a rarity this time. I'm trying to remember what people did. It's getting harder and harder as I go on. The game starts to get more complex. What did green do? They may have picked up this Orange County, but I'm not. That does not sound right. I can't see anything else they could have done, though. What they didn't do was run for money, because they don't have any. So they must have picked up the card, because it's the only thing that would have prevented them. Yellow ran for money, got a big pile of money, and then they came back and did an administrative action. White picked up a third territory. They don't have enough for a rail line, but they have enough to advertise, so they could get some additional cash off advertising. That's a big payout, though. You pay $5 and you only get one extra buck for each 3 cards, and I think this is a multiple chip situation like the rails are. You only get 1 extra buck per chip. Let me make sure that's the case. If I can find this. There we go. Nope. So, collect dues. Each of the players, each player's chip in advertising is worth $1 per set of any 3 Grove cards in the player's tableau. And if you look at advertising here, a payer place a chip of the color. Payments do not benefit. All players may place 1 chip in each level of the advertising con. These chips are removed when... No, so okay, if you have bigger sets, you get more off your advertising. It's just, you can get money off of each of the types of advertising. And obviously the regional's a better payoff. So as you get bigger, advertising just helps you more. Okay, so there's a reason to consider it eventually. Right now the payoff's not very good, and there's a good chance advertising will disappear off you. The rails are what you want. Blue, what the hell did blue do? Blue, I think, no, they had their train. They took their payoff. They have a pile of money now. And red bought something. Red learned their lesson and bought themselves some political lobbying. Now, this is where the $10 buy into the office is a deal, because if you have cash, you can keep churning it. So yellow's in a nice situation with that $10 spent already and the ability to generate cash when they need it. White, of course, doesn't have the cash that they need for it. Red would like this because they could generate cash, although they don't make that much because they don't have a rail line or anything else terribly useful. Green's got to get themselves a rail line. They have the Union Pacific here. They can challenge yellow on that, and then neither one gets the bonus. Right now, these single railroads are worth $4 each because nobody else is in there. $2 for the choo-choo and $2 for being the top guy in that choo-choo. And then we already talked about what he did with his special, I believe. Oh no, we didn't. He bought a fumigation, and the reason for that is because he knows what he wants to play. He wants to play the citrus mold. If you're not fumigating, you're going to lose you're going to lose a card. And we've decided those are Grove cards. Actually, this specifies Grove card on it. Cool. Some of them do not, and I don't know what to do with them. So given that that's the case, I don't necessarily have to push forward, but I don't mind spending $2. I got $5 in the bank, and that can scare other people into paying. Oops, except we didn't turn down. Well, I'm only moving up 1 because I want to keep that $5. White, I'm worth $6 if I do a payout. I'll push it up because otherwise I can't select a payout. Blue doesn't want to pay too much. It's $2 each for them. Red, it's $2. I can't do it. Green can't do it. So now it's time to play my card, and it'll be the citrus mold, and that means everybody loses a Grove card except for yellow, and yellow is going to lose their fumigation advantage. I got to pick one out for each person, and then we'll come around to yellow's turn, although I may take a little break there. It's an interesting dynamic. If you need money, you want to do payouts, right? Because you need the money. If there's no card out there for you that you can grab. If you don't need money, but you have a good payout situation, you want to do payouts, and that's what yellow did. There was no card out there for them to grab, nothing that gets them straight towards victory. They could clear the board, but they didn't want to. They grabbed a card. Now, there's lots of cards out there for them to grab right now, but that's a different issue. For white up here, well, they had kind of the need of money, so they grabbed their money. They still don't have the $5 they need to do anything, but they're just really scraping the barrel. Blue, what did they do? Blue, I think, grabbed a card. Their third Tulare County. You know, it's always worth grabbing cards. Over here, red said, shit, I don't have nothing. And I think they swept the board, to tell you the truth, and I think that opened up the third Riverside for green, who took it. They wanted to put a rail out, but can't pass up on getting more Groves. Yellow then took their bonus action, which was to get into politics. One side of that is, hey, red is in there for a reason, right? The other is, I got a card that I like, the Grapes of Wrath here, which is going to allow me to move the worker marker up a couple spaces. So I can let it drop a little bit before next time. Maybe, you know, we'll see. That's going to move this. Oh, poor green. Or at least poor their workers. I like to look at the cards, see what I have, and make sure I have a whole handful here. County elections, I could sweep the people out of there. It means that I wouldn't be able to acquire a Grove, but I can't anyway on the next turn, so that's appealing to clear those out with no real effect on me. This doesn't really help. Freezes don't really help me. Not interested. increasing the cost for workers might be neat, but I think this is my best move at this point. Which means, well, workers are cheap for me. I'll upgrade them even though I'm low on money. And that kind of causes everybody else to panic, right? So that's $4, right? No, $4 to get all the way up. Yeah, might as well. He shoots it up. Over here, can't do it, can't do it. Yellow. Now, yellow is kind of interested in that $10 because $10 is a pile that you could use for something. Like the state political lobby, he has a card for that. But, you know, the threat here is getting dangerous. So for $4, I too can follow the herd. And that's where we have it. And now the strike is beginning to look interesting for hitting certain people. But the problem is yellow appears to be in the lead right now. Green is not far, and blue is not far. Blue is really not far. Blue's in almost as good a position as. So hitting green and red may not be my most interesting. But hitting red and yellow looks more appealing. So that's what we're going to do. And we take their cards off, or their chips off, because they invested in the elections. And that doesn't do them any good. And now we start over again with white. All right, white is struggling for actions. They grabbed themselves a nursery, but, you know, the other choice is clear the table, basically. And that may help everyone else. It doesn't come around to me. With the nursery, maybe clearing the table will help. It's hard to tell. Now over here, who is this? Blue picked up another Los Angeles County, I think. Yeah. That doesn't help them in terms of rail nets, but grabbing things is just good. There's the Santa Fe over there that they would have rather had. Now it's kind of split. They can go either way. Red had a tough choice. A lot of San Bernardinos and a Santa Barbara. They went. There was actually another San Bernardino out there. They went with the Santa Barbara because not just the rail link, but because they think those are going to be really rare. So they want to make sure it doesn't get swept away. They can get other San Bernardinos, but this might be their only chance to fill out their Santa Barbara. Green, nothing to pick. They put their train out. They want to collect money next turn. Oh, they hope. You know, yellow, well, they just got screwed out of $2 of their money collection, so they're kind of glad they did their big money collection when they did. And they had a nice card they could pick up, a San Bernardino that they threw into their collection there. And they're almost full up with a full boat of 6 there. Same with blue. Blue's almost got their 2 locations filled. And then for the special activity, only yellow took one. They bought another political lobby, which means we get to shift this, drop everyone down, lose a grove and a turn. That would be terrible. And green's not doing badly, red's not doing badly. Blue might well want to strike. Those guys don't have money, so I'm due. So it's kind of appealing. All regional advertising removed. That's not worth so much. Players with no money in county politics lose a turn. Yeah, I don't want to do that. I should have looked at these, but strike is appealing. War, no buildings can be bought. I may need to build a building. It's unlikely. I'm going to be going. I'm going to be getting one of these. So maybe blocking other people off is intriguing to me. And I'm not going to fumigate. So now the question is, do I want to hit these guys with a strike? I have the cash to buy myself up, although then I won't have enough cash left anymore. I think that's going to be my plan. Although the building's appealing, and it cost me $2 to protect myself from the strike I'm planning. Red can't, green can't, yellow can raise themselves by 1. So they protect themselves. And white, white has no damn money, no hopes of anything, and they're only sitting on one place though. They'll raise themselves up as well. The threat of that strike is just too great. And indeed, we have the strike. All players execute actions according to their working conditions. Okay. No effect on the top line, but red is going to lose a turn, and green loses a grove in a turn. Which grove do we want to lose? Well, we're set up well to grab groves in Orange County. However, having an opening in each is kind of appealing, but I think we're going to drop our Orange County grove because we're better able to recover that. Oh. Nah. We'll drop a green one, Riverside. And it doesn't really matter. Oh, this is only a Valencia orange. Yeah, we'll get rid of that. It's worth less money to boot. It's a hard call because we have more of an opportunity to get a grove if we have both open, and Riverside is filled right now. We might be able to actually get 2 if we got lucky, but the Orange County ones aren't worth as much with the Valencia oranges. And we're also going to lose a turn, and I should have a way of marking that, because otherwise I'm going to act, you know, I'm just going to do my run through there. And did blue grab a replacement card? They didn't. That's always a danger for me. Water rights. Lose 1 grove if you're not irrigating. Remove all chips from the slot. So that could be useful. And now we go to the actual actions. Ended up being a very quiet turn. Blue ended up picking up a card, as did yellow. Yellow is San Bernardino. It doesn't fit in. They need another UP. They're going to need to expand now at this point. And white did a payout to get their cash up to value. They're able to do that. They're at highest level. Nobody did any special actions unless... So green loses their turn. I don't think they're allowed to try. White, there's no Riverside. White should have cleared the board in case they'd got a Riverside draw. That was kind of a mistake. But I would say green loses all their turns, so they wouldn't be able to get an Orange County even if there was one out there. And that means we get these back. But a series of strikes, you know, if you don't have a turn, you just stay screwed by strikes. As we push down here, luckily though, red has the choice here. Don't pay for navel oranges. Might be worthwhile. All I've got is Valencias. No grove cards if you're not fumigating. I have nothing on there, so none of these are going to work for me. So I'm planning on the freeze. I don't have the cash to buy up, don't have the cash, don't have the cash. Over here, white. Do I want to pay $1? $5 is enough to do things with. We'll push ourselves up. Blue. Blue doesn't have $5. It'll cost them $2 to push up. They'll go up. It's just a matter of, you know, if it doesn't cost you, go for it. He's probably going to take a payout this turn, if he can. But he's not going to get that chance because there's going to be a freeze, and he's got nothing but navel oranges over there, I think. Going to kind of spread. He's got 1 Valencia, so he could get $1. You know. Yeah, that's not going to happen. And an ad campaign. Those are kind of cool if you happen to be advertising, but nobody's really all that big. I mean, like if this guy was advertising, he'd get $2 extra for it. That's a big investment, $5 to get 2 each time, and it's worse for the guys who are only going to get 1. Green is kind of regretting the money they threw into that. They could have done something else with it, perhaps. Although, the more of these you buy, and the bigger you get in everything, the harder it is to cope with the constant worker issues. which means we're now on red for the turn. I realize I've been cheating with the damn nurseries. I forgot you pay the amount shown on the board. These guys could not have afforded a nursery. I don't know what they would have done. Something, but they're losing them. So I was looking at saying, well, maybe I should do it. So I had to look up a nursery to see if I could do it if I already had both of these filled, because he's got kind of a problem. He's got nothing he can do. And that's troubling. He could do a payout and get, I don't know, $1. I think that's the best thing he can actually do. He's got no source of income, no draws he can make. He's filled out. He's got no source of income because of the freeze. He'd be fine if it wasn't the freeze. He'd just take a payout. But I think that's what he's got to do anyway. After that happened, red had gotten the San Bernardino. Green cleared the board thinking, oh, I've got a nursery. Yeah. Yellow took a payout for $1. White, what did white do? White picked up another Riverside. They're not thrilled about this because it means now they have to actually buy something before they can get a railroad. But they gotta collect groves while they can. Blue, no groves, nothing valuable. They took $1 for their payouts for a Valencia orange, and that puts us down at the bottom here. Means green goes. Well, I definitely do not want a strike because I have no money to pay that shit off. So it's soil depletion. That doesn't look terribly good. Fumigation, which hits everyone. An extra agency action. That at least doesn't hurt me. Extra agency action if I'm not irrigating. Well, it's one of these two, fumigation or irrigation. I'll do the fumigation, I guess. I have no money. Not enough money. I don't want to spend. He's got money. And a useless card. A lumber mill. Extra building if either politics is covered. Sounds pleasant. If you have money. That means green gets to start this turn. Okay, green start. Don't know what they did. Oh, everybody did payouts. They did a payout, yellow did a payout. I haven't done yellow's special action yet. I gotta think about that. White did not do a payout. They spread into Los Angeles County because there's a couple there. Blue did their payout. Red didn't do a payout. They picked up a San Bernardino. They had a choice here. They could buy them, grab themselves a rail. But, you know, when the cards are out, I feel like I have to take advantage of them because it's so seldom that they are. But yeah, the rail might have been a better move because then I could do a payout this turn. But either way, I'm kind of off everybody else's line. Everybody's got enough money now, so yellow may play a card that prevents payouts, and that would suck. And okay, let me think what yellow wants to do, because they have money burning a hole in their pocket. Probably going to play the Grapes of Wrath. Yep. So if that's the case, is there anything I really need to buy? You know, advertising helps me. I'll put it in. Start setting me up. It's not like I can buy another building at this point. I have to do that next phase and decide where that is. Now, growth here. I have only 2 of these. I'm going to spend $2 to grow 1 space because of the card that I'm going to play. White can't. Blue. $2 for a space sounds good to me. No reason to let it fall behind. Can't do it. Can do it and wants to. I've got 2 of these, so they're $2 each. I'll buy 2 spaces. I still lose a Grove, which is maybe worse than losing my next turn. Give me $2 back. Okay. Now the card play. Yellow's going to play the Grapes of Wrath. Players can move the marker up 2 spaces if they have politics covered. They have a politics covered. So boom, we're up to optimal. That was a nice card for us. And we're set to take another action. What did Yellow do? I think Yellow bought themselves a building. Another one in Los Angeles County. There were a lot of blue cards out there. White. I don't know what White did. They may have also gone into Los Angeles County. That doesn't seem right. I think they were there before. Yeah, I don't know what White did. That must be... Somebody cleared the board. It wasn't White though, because Blue went into Riverside because there were a couple Los Angeles County cards and they wanted to get their way in there. I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know what White did with their turn. I hope I didn't skip them. Red, I think, are the ones who... No, they put in here. Green cleared the cards. I'm pretty sure of that. And that changed the dynamic there. Yellow chose not to use their special event. They don't have much money. And White really chose not to, because the card they're playing on their next turn is the Sour Oranges. It's says you can't get any Grove card. Oh, they don't want to play that. They're in here. Oh, jeez. I think we'll do a freeze. Instead. Because, yeah, we want to be able to buy things. Although, we could prevent other people from buying if we spend our $5. That's what we want to do. We want to use our money. So we'll use the Sour Oranges card. We'll spend the $5 to get ourselves a chip on fertilizing. So it's only us and Yellow who will be able to do that. Which sounds like a good bonus. Okay, that'll work. That means the chip moves. People go down. Payoffs, White. White doesn't have the money to do any. They cost 2 now each. Blue does. They'll pay to keep themselves avoiding strikes. Green has the cash for 1. Buy their way back up to lose next turn. They don't want to lose a Grove, but they don't mind if they lose a turn. So they don't want to go up to here. And Yellow has not the cash because they now have 3 things. Alright. Blue needs 3 things. Blue has 3 things. I paid to send Blue up. They had to pay another one more than they did. Okay. Now it's card play. And we're playing the Sour Oranges. No one can get any Groves. These are going to go to the side to indicate that's what happens. He gets a replacement card. Orange juice. Okay. And now White gets to go. Okay. I don't remember what White did now. Grab that Los Angeles County because they were allowed to, being one of the 2 people here. These are gone at this point. Other people without the ability to draw from the pile, blue, red, Green, they all did payouts. Grab some cash while the cash is good to grab. Yellow, could have done a payout, obviously, not great in cash, but they had something to grab. Los Angeles County space. It doesn't really fit with their railways, but you know, there's the, hey, try to aim for the victory conditions too. Special abilities, nobody bought anything. Just not enough money out there and the two people who can do its hands. Yellow is beginning to have cash flow problems, not in the sense of, gee, I can't afford anything, but they can't afford the turns to do that extra action, which means we bump everyone down again, and we're going to think about what Blue's card choice is. Lose one Grove card if you're not irrigating. That we don't want to do. That would hit everyone. No buildings. I'm okay with that in theory, except there's no riverside stuff, so I don't know, it's okay. Lose a turn if you're not fumigating. That just hits everyone. That doesn't help me. Strike. Strike sounds very appealing compared to War. I can screw over the people on the low end. County election. That would lose everybody a turn except Yellow and get rid of the chit, but Yellow would be able to buy it back. They could do a payoff and buy it back, so that doesn't help. Regional advertising removed. Wow, that's appealing. That's some money I could take off of Yellow, which might be more valuable than doing the strike. The only person who's getting hit by the strike I really want to hit is Red, whereas getting rid of the advertising, well, that hits Yellow, but Yellow's my main competition, so that's the one I'm going to aim for. But at $3, it's worth keeping my workers happy. Red looks like they're only $2 to go up to lose a turn. That sounds good. Green is $2 up to lose a turn. Sounds good. Yellow? Collect no dues. Hard to judge, but whatever. At least it's moving me upward. White has no cash to handle theirs, which means we have completed another cycle of rounds. That's my wording for it here. And I think I'm done for the night. I got stuff loading up, so I don't really want to finish the vid off, and I'm getting close to that. And we're not going to finish tonight. I need to get to bed soon. Tell for sure sleep, but I think I forgot to play Blue's card there, and I dropped it down. It's the regional advertising removed from the board. I think that's what I decided on, and then just didn't play it. So I took care of that and cleared that. You can see we've got a replacement already. Blue, for their turn, they spent the big bucks on the agency office. They think they're at the point where they'll be able to use it regularly. Red, unable to find anything to do. Not so sure about that. They could have grabbed the San Bernardino there, but they did not. And I think I blew my money going into here instead. I thought San Bernardino was Santa Barbara, or the one that I had 3 of essentially. And that was definitely a mistake. In fact, that's a big enough mistake, and I'm kind of sleepy. I'm going to take that, because that was out. That brings a chip up that nobody would have cared about anyway. Green, yellow, and white all did payouts, because they had nothing they could pick up sitting out there. And they were all kind of low on money and looking for something. Then white and yellow get their agency actions, and Well, Yellow, I know, used theirs to pick up their regional advertising again. I don't know, White didn't use theirs. They have cash. I looked over their cards and I think I saw nothing that I really wanted to waste $5 on, but yeah, because I'm not allowed to expand on the board or anything in any sense. So, since I don't have a rail connection, I don't really want to buy advertising. They bought their regional advertising because they've got a decent number of sets. I mean, they get $2 extra for their $5, so they felt like it was worth picking up, given that it didn't cost them an action. Okay, that's gonna move our chippy. Dump things down, and now red has to think about what they're gonna do. Yeah, definitely don't want that. County politics drops the worker 2 slots. If I don't rise, that might not be bad. Hit everybody. Extra agency action if you're fertilizing. Nobody's doing that, so that would be a neat waste. Freeze, I just ran my money. So that might be kind of cool, but everybody's got cash right now. Infestation again. Probably don't really want to do that. Lose turn if you're not advertising. Definitely don't want to do that. I think we're going to aim for the county election, and we're not going to raise our value. Other people, though, may still want to raise their value. In particular, with green, could jump theirs up a couple of spaces this turn and try to get out of this hole. They've only got 2. Got the money for an office, though. An office. Oh. I'll just raise it to 1. Yellow. Yellow has 3. They just collected money, they'll raise 1. White. White only has 2. They're in that kind of hellish position, so they'll only raise theirs 1. They don't expect a strike here. In a sense, not expecting a strike, hey, it's stupid to raise it $1. I'm not doing it. Green screwed up. It's too late for them. Yeah, I know. I'm weird with my screw-ups. Blue is going to spend the 3 to raise theirs. And now red plays their card. Just players with no money in county politics will lose 2 slots off their track. Means green and blue fall. And yellow loses their election capability. Red gets this. And then we're on to another turn. Okay, Jesus, I'm having trouble thinking of what I did. Red spent money, but on what? They spent the big 10 on the county office. Green did the same. Yellow pushed their way into San Diego County. White went into Ventura. And then blue said, well, you know, if those guys are buying, speculating, well, not really speculating, but counting on what's out there, I'll sweep the board, especially since yellow is my main competition. And he did that as his action. And then neither yellow nor white had the cash available to do their agency action, but blue did, and they picked up some political lobbying in the county. And that moves. Down here they have to think. They know they're not going to do a strike, and they don't have money, and they don't have any of these things either. I don't know what that noise is. All players execute actions according to their working conditions. Definitely not, definitely not, definitely not. Extra building action. Yeah, we don't particularly want that, do we? Let's just do Irrigation is what we're going to count on. Everything moves down. I didn't take that into account. Now people can buy it back. No money. No money. White can raise it by 1. Raising it by 1 doesn't really help. I might as well stick at the bottom. If this guy's not going to throw a strike because he's at the bottom too, and everybody else is out of money, so working conditions just keep getting worse and worse. And the bigger the farming gets, the worse it is for everyone. Irrigation's played. Nobody gets anything out of that. It just kills the regional advertising. And we're on to the next one. At this point, everybody had a shit in the agency action, so everybody had that opportunity. Let's see what we had. Green grabbed a card. Now, they were out of money and probably won it cash, but grabbing cards is tough to do. And again, you know, I tend to favor it wherever possible. Over here, we saw people paying out. I think they threw a payout down. I think white may have thrown a payout down as well. Blue and red. And not everyone, though, chose to use their payouts towards something in the agency office. Yellow did not, because they're planning on buying these up. They think they're going to throw a strike next turn, so they want to hurt everybody else. And that's kind of their cheapest opportunity. That's yellow, I'm sorry. White over here didn't feel like they had enough money to run a payout or to run something off the offices. None of their cards really applied towards it, so they held their cash. They're kind of, oh geez, they're in Ventura, and this didn't get taken. See, I'm not able to pay enough attention here. I didn't realize I had a third thing in Ventura County. Oh well. Alright, blue over here, and it's really hard for me when I'm just stealing a turn like I am right now to keep track of everything. I had this problem with my other game. I'm not used to. Blue, what did they do? They did their payout. They did not. They spent on irrigation. They have a card that fits to that. Red spent their payout that they took up here to do some regional advertising. Again, they have a card for that, but also, hey, that means their next payout pays out another couple bucks. So that's kind of cool because they have 2 sets there. Now I guess we move this. We shift things down, and we have to decide. And we know yellow wants to up theirs. Now yellow has 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3. That's going to cost them 12 bucks. You can see how expensive it's getting to improve things. But that's kind of putting the screws on everyone, because everyone knows they've got the cube, and they just boosted. That's enough reason to consider boosting for everyone. So 3 of these, I could get up to acquire no grove. That seems worthwhile, even though it eats up all my money. Blue could get up to collect no dues. Blue's extras in Riverside. I'm probably okay with no grove as well, if that works out better. So that would only be 6 bucks, and we'll do the whole 9. Not because we know, but because we don't have 5 bucks, so we have to do a payout if we're going to do anything impressive that requires money. So we might as well. Oh, except that doesn't work. Give me my 3 bucks back. Yeah, if we're not able to collect dues, we don't want to be up there. Red doesn't have a lot of money, and they have only a couple of these. They're 2 bucks each. 2, 4, 6, 8. I could throw myself up to collect no dues. That doesn't make a lot of sense. So I'll just go up to no Grove and keep a couple bucks on hand. And green is not going to be able to help themselves, so they're going to be screwed over again by being at the bottom of the wage levels. Now, do we still want to do a strike? It's become a lot less effective here. We could prevent anyone from collecting money. We have money more than anyone else. Maybe. We have a strike, which has gotten less interesting. We could do a freeze, which is almost as good as the no dues. We could screw everyone but blue with a county election, but also drop blue out of that. That's possibly interesting. We definitely don't want to do that. I think we're going to throw the county election, which everyone with no money in county politics can't take pay. It's almost as effective as just nobody takes pay. And it gets rid of that. And there's some places where that $5 is actually, that's not worth as much as pay, but I'm okay because I'm clearing it out of the way. And we'll get this, which is kind of neat. And that puts us to yellow starting the next round. The existing card actually caused quite a bit of trouble. Let's document it. First of all, yellow couldn't just buy something. They didn't have a card out there they wanted to get. They actually kind of screwed up by being in that position. There's now a Los Angeles County card, but there wasn't when they went, I hope. I think there wasn't. They ended up using a couple of bucks to throw a nursery into San Diego County. The idea of there being, they could have paid a buck to move that, but the idea there being, hey, it's better to have the nursery there and be able to produce if I get if somebody draws a San Diego County, and that's cheap enough that I could do it. Of course, for a buck, I could have moved to someplace like Kings or Fresno that actually had cards. Well, Kings didn't yet, but Fresno did, available. And it would have been worthwhile. I forgot to do that, though. That is that a secondary action? No, that's number 9. It's only 5 through 8 that are the agency actions. So I'm not really set up for next turn there either because of that. But that's okay. White was able to pick something up. They grabbed something in Ventura County, which they had picked up a residence in recently, or a packing house. Blue, the one guy with money, they had something useful. They picked up a Riverside County card because they're over there now. Yeah, we're not far from victory right now. 3, 6, 7. It's 5 cards away. Same over here, and other people are at 6. You would say, well, that's like halfway through. Yeah, maybe, but we have a little bit more power now with these. And more capacity for generating money, but that money is more expensive. It has more need in the sense that people have more of these, so they have to pay more to keep their working conditions up. Red got completely screwed. There was nothing they could do, unless for a buck they could move something, which they probably should if they could. They're in Santa Barbara and San Bernardino. Those are the 2 they need. They don't have a third packing house. And that's really where the problem lay. Is the only thing they could do for free is lay a train. And therefore they couldn't do anything when the agency action came up either. I have the feeling this guy filled out his Orange County holdings. Unless somebody else picked up an Orange County card that I just mentioned, as I know somebody just did. That doesn't give them an extra rail position. And then when we looped around for the secondaries, there was very little anyone could do, but blue was able to grab themselves another chew here, which is of course good. And that means we shift this, we drop things down, and we look to see what white wants to do. And white has a freeze. They kind of need money. They'd rather not. Pay double to raise workers. Ooh, I don't know. No pay if you're not advertising. Not interesting to them. No pay, more freezes. State election, we can make everybody lose a turn. That's basically throwing my card away, but it might be better than anything else I have. Players with no money in county politics receive no pay. That's kind of like a freeze. I could extend that. I've got to play one of these. These I definitely do not want to pay. I guess I'm going to count on playing the unions. I'm not sure I'm really thrilled with that because I don't have, you know, the money to raise. I don't have the ability to raise things right now. But if I do the freeze, I'm not going to have the money to raise things either, and I'm not going to have the money to expand places. Let's see what we have here. We're in Ventura County, Los Angeles County, so we have a card we can pick up. So we're not going to pay out anyway. We'll do a freeze. At least intention. Now you can see some of these are miscolored. I'm hoping in the eventual printed version, those are going to be the same, all the same color. Another problem is these backs are awfully similar. A little bit of difference, a little bit more difference between them in base coloration or whatever would have been helpful. Even an amount that's different within the cards of the one series. This is, of course, just a playtest version. I have no idea what the final version artwork and components are going to look like. Okay, where are we? We're at the decision to improve our workers' lots. Blue. Blue's got $3 for one. We'll do it. Because otherwise we're on the lose a grove, which is worse than not being able to acquire. Red. Red, they're still in the cheap seats. They'll push up. Green can't buy. Yellow. Yellow is in very expensive seats. And we already did white. And now I get to play my card. I'll play a freeze. I draw a new card. And we'll be starting with white. But I need to charge because I left this not charging over the day. So this is another tight turn here. I think I'm going to have to load this video up after this one. So, let me explain what happened. White started out, put this back, picking up the Ventura that they were counting on. They didn't end up getting a second action, not enough cash. Blue thought about taking a buck that they could get off of the Valencia orange. But instead they swept the board, which kind of doesn't help them either because they're not going to get an opportunity to use anything that comes up. The only thing they're opening is Riverside. And, well, everybody's full up there, so actually they probably would get a shot at a Riverside if it came up. Red actually did a payout. They got a decent amount of money, $7 off of it because they have 3 Valencias. That's worth 3. 4-5 for the chew, 6-7 for control of the railway. They're able to supply that railway, the Southern Pacific, and you know nobody else is in competition there anyway. But if somebody was, they might not count against them because of the freeze. Green managed to grab a San Diego County that showed up. Yellow, geez. I don't know what yellow did. Yellow played a train, didn't they? No. Yellow must have done something. Maybe I skipped them, who knows. I think they picked up something, but it doesn't look like it. They had 7 before, didn't they? I'm not sure. Yeah, they may have just passed, which doesn't make sense. They should have at least taken their $2. but they may have. They've got money here, so I don't know. They may have taken a payout, a week payout. And then going around, White was able to fill in a rail now because they've actually got a full set, which they didn't before. Now, I'm a little iffy. I'm not sure that they can fill this in because it's not all Valencia oranges, but I let them do it. The rules are not absolutely clear about all things. And now we're gonna move forward here. We pump these down. Let me see what blue wants to play. Basically, I could either stop the camera while I make this decision and report it to you, or try to figure it out in real time. And I don't like lots and lots of clips, even if it means that I waste some of your time looking at the cards. And I don't know if it's a waste is part of the issue. County election doesn't look interesting. No buildings bought. There's a Riverside available. That's not terrible for me. Repeat last card, no pay. That's not necessarily bad either. Strike, not terribly good. I don't have the money for that. I'm gonna... I am not fumigating. I'm gonna take everybody's card, turn away. Water rights. Lose a grove if you're not irrigating. I'm irrigating. That may be my best move, is to play that. Just to hurt people more. Okay. Because I want to take away, you know, their victory points, as it were. I don't have money to go forward. Red. Red's saying, well, blue's not going to do a strike. Do I want to play forward, though, while I only have 2 buildings on the board? I want to move 1 forward. Not so much because of position or anything, but that leaves me $5 to build another building, which I will want to do. Green has no money. Yellow can't afford theirs. White can't afford theirs, which means we go forward with the card. The water rights. Lose a grove card if you're not irrigating. I'm going to have to pick a grove for everyone to lose. And then obtain 2 railroad contracts without an action. Anybody who sits around without picking up the trains at this point, when you have these, is probably in a pretty useless position. That's pretty much a useless card at this point in the game. It might allow you to grab a railway at a point where you don't, you know, early, and then you can do a payout. That's about all that can really help you. You're probably not going to be able to grab 2 with it, just because you're going to keep your rail lines up to date. They're your money. They're a big source of cash. So I gotta figure out what everybody's dropping. I don't think that's a terribly interesting decision. It's one that requires a decent amount of effort. They ought to put mufflers on those things. It's far enough away, it's not that annoying, but you know, it's not a lawnmower, and it's loud as hell. This is tough. I can probably afford to lose one of these thingamarooms, and in my case I probably want to lose the San Bernardino, because there's actually a better replacement up there. And I'll make that kind of decision for each person, what they're losing. But everybody's going to lose except for blue. And this is going to go up.